Okay, so I don't know how many times I actually like take a picture of myself before I start a video. Cause I'm just doing this on my computer, and I'm always hold on. I'm gonna try and do something really quick. This is really off the cuff. Like I just felt like making a video, so hopefully, okay, I had to do something on my computer. You, I'll start talking. So I decided I was gonna try and help people out, give people advice that I wish I had had when I was well, I'm still an undergrad. I'm a senior this year, but I'm gonna try and give advice to you guys and help you guys out as far as like pre-med stuff or student stuff or whatever you want. I don't know, but I get a lot of questions on my video that I made about being a pre-med and not being sure like what you want or not. I didn't make a video about that. Not being confident in yourself or fear, self-doubt and stuff like that. And I have a lot of people asking me questions, and I really appreciate that. I really like that. That's nice. So I decided that I would answer some of the questions I got via video, and I would also make some other videos talking about like, I don't know, whatever you guys want me to talk about. Just advice, I guess. But like I said, I'm rambling at this point. We're gonna pick this up. This is gonna have a flow. I wrote nothing, prepared nothing. Probably not gonna edit, but it'll be a good video. I promise. Just stick with me. So this video I'm gonna make about drumroll your PAC interview. So most of you guys are like, what's a PAC interview? Well, if you're pre-med, your PAC interview is, or your committee interview is an option. One of the options, when you go to apply to med schools, it'll be like you need a letter of recommendation from either a DO or an MD, depending on which school you're applying to, or either, I don't know if some schools take that. So you need a letter of recommendation from a doctor, and then you need either like 3 or 5 letters from like a teacher or sub option or a committee interview or both. It just depends. Most schools you need like some of the 3 somehow, you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying. So anyway, a committee interview is an interview of a committee of faculty to you, the student, and they pretty much, you don't really know, like with my school, you don't really know who's going to be doing your interview until like a week before. You might know one of the professors, but chances are you're not going to know all of them. I don't know why. I'm thirsty. It's hot in here. I'm pausing. Anyway, so like I have 3, and I'm going to give you guys some advice for your committee interview, and it'll help you out. So I have pajama pants on. I'm super ADD. This is not going to work. Okay. So anyway, so obviously it's like an interview, so you're going to dress nice. You're going to look well. You're going to be business casual. I would dress business casual for the video, but it wouldn't make any sense because, I mean, I could show you guys an example of how to dress, not even business casual, dress like nice. Dress like you're going out for a job interview. Like if you're a guy, you might want to wear not like a 3-piece suit, but look nice. If you're a lady, girl, whatever, just like skirt, pantsuit, you guys know how to do it. Look your best, look your best. So you're gonna dress up, and then you're gonna go in there, and they're gonna ask you a series of questions. Now, let's say you've signed up for your PAC interview. You're like me. Your interview's tomorrow, and you haven't prepared at all because you are taking other classes, and that's how you do your life. So I'm gonna give you some quick tips on how to do well. Obviously, you're gonna dress to impress. My school has a website called, I think it's higherosugrads.com or .edu, not sure. I think it's .com. Go on that website, even if you don't go to our school. Maybe you can get into it. I think you can. And it's a website that gives you mock interviews. And so you'll have somebody talking to you on a computer screen. They're like, it's already pre-recorded, kind of like a YouTube video, and they're going to be like, so tell me about yourself. And you're going to be like, well, insert thing. Every single PAC interview, at least at my school, starts off with tell me about yourself or some variation of that question. So you're going to need to know how to answer that question. That's the number one thing. Know how to talk about yourself. If someone says tell me about yourself, you're not going to be like, well, I like ice cream. I love to party, but not too much. Like, no, that's not how, use common sense. If it's going to say, so tell me about yourself, you're going to give them a little bit of history about yourself. Hi, my name's Amber Douglas. I'm a junior/senior, whatever, here at Oklahoma State University. I'm pre-med. My minor's in psychology. You want to go with kind of like you're going to base it on what you're talking about, if that makes any sense. So you're going to talk about school, maybe activities. So I'd be like, I do research here on campus. I've won this and this award. I want to go on to pursue medicine, etc., etc. Make your about you. Give a little bit about what you're doing. Talk about, if you don't know anything about yourself that pertains to your future career, say like things that you're in. I'm president of this club. I've done this. You also want to keep your about me to under a minute. They do not want your life story. Like, well, I was born in this state and I traveled here. They don't care about that. They want to know what pertains to your interview. So you're always going to get that about me. That's a little bunny hole or whatever tangent that I went off on. But like I said, if you go to that website that I told you guys about before, I'll try and put a description down below. It will give you interview questions that are tailored toward a PAC interview. So some tips about a PAC interview. Don't be nervous. All right, so practice there's tons of websites, there's tons of YouTube videos that will give you mock questions. If you guys want me to post a video, give me mock questions, I will. So practice, know your about me, dress to impress. This isn't in order, obviously. And don't be nervous. Calm down. It's gonna be okay. Like, I'll tell you guys the truth. I was so nervous. Like, our PAC interviews were about 30 minutes long. And when I first got in there, probably about the first, I want to say 6 minutes, I was visibly nervous. I was like, like, I was nervous because this is a big deal. Your PAC interview, this is something that they're going to use to write a letter to your med school. So if you go in there and you're being a hot mess, then it's a big deal. So I was a little bit nervous. But thinking about it, but like, just don't be nervous. Just keep in mind that it's something that they're not going to write anything bad about you. They know that you are a student at their university that's trying to get into like a medical school. So they're not going to write like, oh, this student, like, unless you go into the PAC interview and you're like, look, I'm just in it for the money. I don't care about anything. Like, unless you're like a jerk or something like that, they're usually going to write you a good report. So just don't be nervous. Calm down. Try and genuinely show them a good side of you. Like I said, I was nervous until I got to the point where they started asking me questions about my experience and about patients I'd met, and I just opened up and I talked to them kind of the same as how I'm talking to you. Just conversational, and it became very informal at that point, and it very easy for me. Another thing, so I gave you those tips before. I don't remember what order. If you want to go back and you see them. Another thing is, know your past experiences. They will ask you what you've done, how it's impacted you, what you learned from what you've done, and you need to be able to articulate what you've learned from experiences shadowing or volunteering, etc., etc. Also, you need to know about current events in medicine. I bombed on one question because they asked me, where do I get my information about medicine? Like, how do I stay up to date with medicine? And I just bombed because I don't, to be honest. Like, if I hear something, and I told them, if I answered honestly, I should have lied, but I told them, if I hear something on CNN or the news, and that's kind of like, about healthcare, et cetera, and they're like, well, after my interview, they kind of like, they tutored at my school. What they'll do is they'll do the interview, and in that last 10 minutes, they'll tell you what you did wrong to help you prepare for your med school interview. And they're like, you need to actually have something of legitimacy to that. So know what's going on with healthcare. It's always changing. The world of medicine is always changing. And have a reliable source for that information on deck, or written down on a pad or something. Be able to provide that. Be able to talk about your experiences. What else? I'm trying to think. This is really off the cuff. Like, this is just, and if I think of something else that I forgot, I'll put it in the description. Last but not least, I'm trying to think of anything else. Obviously, be respectful. Some will ask you, like, let's say you got a less than admirable grade in a class. Be ready and prepared to explain that grade. Don't be, like, sweating bullets about it. don't be like super 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 nervous, but be ready to, you know, if they say hey, because they're gonna have your transcript. At my school they had my transcript and they were like, okay, I see, but what happened in this class? You know, what happened in this class? Because I have a, I'll let you guys know this. I have a W on my transcript, and what happened was I actually got sick my freshman year, and I had to have surgery. And you know, long story short, I ended up having to drop a class because it was too much, and I was too sick, and I, you know, I had all the proof for that. And so I told them that, you know what, I had to drop a class because that load was too much, and they, okay, we appreciate that, and it goes on. Um, that was, you know, that was it. So don't stress about it, but be prepared that they might ask you about that. I also had I'm so bad about this. I had a typo on my committee interview application, and they were like, they brought that up. You know, are you not preparing? Like, what's going on here? And so you have to be able to, if you have any blunders, you have to be able to defend those blunders, but defend them politely and with tact and with respect, and not in a way that's going to make you that acknowledge that you did wrong or that something occurred, and then talk about how you're going to move forward with that and how you're not going to let that slow you down, and they'll appreciate that a lot. Like I said, be respectful. The PAC interview, they're not going to write you a bad letter of recommendation. They realize you're a student. But it is important because, you know, colleges look at that. So if you decide, you know, I want to get a committee interview instead of having 3 random professors write for me, then you have to be ready to do that interview. But it's not that bad. It like I said, mine was like 30 minutes. I did really well. I'm slapping that on my med school well, I don't really know how well I did. They told me I did well. I'm slapping that letter down on my med school application, and that's that. So I'm going to cut, this is a long video, so I'm going to cut it off here. Write down below if you want any more advice on stuff like that. Thanks. Ooh, okay, sorry.